Yay!
Hello! Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. First off, a disclaimer. Drinking smart water does not make you smart. That's your PSA for tonight. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Okay. What's the
I
matter,
got a write
Shredder?
check for I got a write check for my gun club dues for the year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much?
Enough. Cheaper than some. Cheaper than some, but more expensive than anything else I've ever been in up in Pennsylvania.
If I remember correctly, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 a month. So.
They wish.
Oh, it's not that bad?
No,
Oh, that's good then.
not even close. Red Tone, I'm Mike's favorite son. Who the hell is?
That's one of the twins.
Oh, Jiminy Crickets.
I don't know. I'm not choosing favorites, so.
At least not on air, huh?
Exactly.
Oh.
Nothing where there's any evidence. So, Sharenda, I see you
Yes.
survived your adventure.
I did.
So tell us about it. So, Sharenda, I see you survived your adventure. After you mute that. So tell us.
It was a bachelorette party, and we did primitive camping.
So what's your definition of primitive camping?
No gas, no power. Well, technically, we discovered once we got there that there was a shower house, which, by the way, was very, very, very clean. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. I usually expect porta potty, roast out, public park type deals, but there was, I think this was probably my first weekend I actually stayed sauced all weekend. And it was my first time floating. Like, I literally got in the lake.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw some of those pictures.
Yeah, but I kind of plunked out a little bit. I tethered.
See, you got to go tubing. So,
it's on the list, but I'm definitely gonna have to get one of those life vests, the thin ones, because when you're a little thick, you don't want extra foam padding because you stay hotter.
You those thin ones, they automatically inflate, so they kind of don't work for like floating and tubing and stuff like that, because all of a sudden you'll be in the water and then it'll hit the water and go off.
That's okay. I want that.
And then it's not thin anymore.
Yeah, but I'm not a strong swimmer, so that's better than the big old clunky ones.
This is a damn pool noodle.
No, I got something for her. I'll find it and show it to her. But see, do you know what tubing really is?
No, I mean, look, I'm probably gonna piss some people off, but this past weekend was the whitest thing I had ever done. It was it was fun. I would totally do it again.
She's gone snow goose hunting and she's saying this was white.
I believe she's more meaning like hillbilly-ish, redneck-ish than just straight white.
No, I personally, I don't know any Black people that had ever gone on a float trip.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't know many that primitive camp. So that's just my personal circle. So yeah, I shocked a lot of people that I went, but I was shocked at how much fun I actually had.
Oh yeah.
Sharenda, that just goes to prove you could fit into any crowd.
Well, it depends on the people you hang out with too. That's right.
That's right.
They make it fun.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So yeah, tubing is kind of like what you were talking about, float trip, except for you get a bunch of inner tubes and you lash them all together, and in the middle is a cooler.
See, we were just the cooler short.
And then you go down the river where it's never really too deep to stand.
See, but we got to actually train the dog to bring us a can or a bottle.
We'll get on it.
Yeah, because the dog fetches sticks and will fetch sticks and hop in the water. So we got to maybe teach the dog a new trick. Because we took a dog with us too, and the dog was great.
So Cabela's right now has got the Igloo 48 quart coolers on sale for $20. I'm going to get like 1 or 2 of those for this express purpose of tubing. Because if you lose the cooler, you're out $20. I see people bringing these fancy Yetis and stuff down. It's hilarious. It's like, dude, you're not going to be using it long enough to keep this, that you need to keep it cold. So,
yeah, it was strange. Of course, everybody else was like, Sharonda, did you bring a gun? And I'm like, of course.
Of course I did, damn it.
Of course.
There you go, Sharonda.
And yes, running with scissors, trail mixed was involved. And I was told that it wasn't officially the whitest thing ever until I had ham salad, which I couldn't eat, but the ham salad was there. It was gross.
No, ham salad's good if it's made right.
No, it looked gross. I don't care how good it is.
See, ham salad isn't a camping thing. It doesn't keep well. You got to keep it cold. So try to smack him.
Sharonda's waving. Paul's waving. Marissa's waving.
Hi.
Hi.
Mike wants you to smack me. Ow, 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 ow.
Yes.
6 minutes and 45 seconds into the show, and Jim's getting the hell beat out of him.
Oh, she doesn't have enough time to do that, Jim.
He says, slap you.
You got that right.
I also want to point out, look what's in the background. It finally made it out the garage.
Yep.
One of them.
What?
Reloading press.
Oh, geez. What's that blue? Is that what that funny looking blue thing is?
Yeah.
See?
Yay. Look at her modeling and styling her stuff.
Yay.
Yep.
Isn't it nice when you finally make it out of the garage into the temperature the climate controlled area?
Yeah, that's why I hadn't really been doing anything. It's either too hot or too cold in the garage, and I don't care what type of fan situation. I was like, let's screw this. Just won't have an office anymore.
Oh well, he'll get over it. So anyway, they're talking about ham salad, and Vanessa just said bring pea soup instead.
Ew.
You can do that. Well, see, you either like split pea soup or you hate split pea soup. It's not a kind of thing. So obviously, Jim hates it.
Yeah, like navy bean soup. A lot of people don't like that.
I've eaten gallons of this stuff, and I despise it. I'll never eat it again.
Oh, that's right. You were in the service. You probably did.
Well,
yeah, but that's not very good split pea soup.
that isn't made with good ham hocks and all the good stuff. No.
You find yourself a good cook to make you some.
I did. She's sitting right there behind me. Look, smile, Marissa.
Does she make split pea soup?
No, she's smart enough not to.
Well, then that's what we're asking. That's what we're asking, and you said that she doesn't, so I don't know.
Because she knows I won't eat it.
Yeah. Split pea soup, Marisha.
They can hear you, but you can't hear them.
I dropped y'all a message in the private chat.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you got to do that. Anyway, I'm looking to see Andy 79 Z28 got a new upper. I was looking to see what it is. So I missed what it is.
He got the upper, or is it shipped?
It's shipping, I think. 300 blackout is what it is. Nice. So
That'll be real good with those zinc bolts.
yeah, that'll be fun. So I wanted to show off. I dug this out, and this is the primer system we were talking about for the Dylan. Where'd my knife go?
Is that vibratory filler tube? Filling tool?
No. This is the low primer warning.
Oh, yeah. That saved my bacon a couple times.
Because see, what happens is you're zipping along, and you're priming, and then all of a sudden you run out. You don't realize you ran out, and it's not a good thing. So I'm not going to actually install this because first off, the drive the dog is nuts. And second, I'm not loading fast enough to worry about it. But how this works is this sits right here. Then you put your following rod through it. And basically, as it gets down to the end, there's a little tap switch.
The battery's empty.
Yeah, battery's on the desk.
Mine's is plugged in.
There you go. It makes that noise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it just sits because when the rod gets down to the bottom, it's enough weight to pull that down. And bada bing, bada boom.
And
All of a
sometimes
sudden it starts chirping at you.
And sometimes you just have to run a 45 ACP case on top of it.
Yeah.
Just,
Sometimes you wind up with a little more weight, especially if you're doing large primers.
Yeah.
Well, the battery they sent me is not any good. Oh, well.
Well, it's only been sitting for a couple of years, right?
Right. So.
Excuse me.
But it's just a single AAA battery, just goes right in here. So.
Yep.
Not to mention, I probably ought to go look mine up and make sure I get the battery out of it. It's only been 5 years.
Yeah, the batteries last a while in it, too.
True.
I think.
Well, it never gets used.
Yeah.
Shouldn't get used much.
No. So that's that.
Miss Kitty, I love you, dear. Can we train Spot the robot dog from Boston Dynamics to reload?
Sure, why not?
Anything's possible.
Well, I know one thing. Spot the robot dog could be trained to at least pump the handle.
Exactly. Yep. So, Paul, what you been up to?
Not much. Just helping the daughter out. Got her fence installed over the weekend, and now I have to wait for the building inspector to come out and look at it, and then I'm headed home. I'm getting out of here. Illinois is wearing down on me.
How long you been out there, Paul?
2 weeks.
2.
Yeah. Just about 2 weeks, yeah.
That'll suck the life out of you in a hurry.
Yeah.
What you been up to, Jim?
Well, like I said, I have to pay my gun club dues. I have to turn around, go to the other desk, and write out a check.
There you go.
Going to a good cause.
It is.
Yep.
Some place for you to practice at.
That's
Check your
right.
loads.
Because you need to.
That's right. We all do. So should you, except you're in Illinois.
Yeah, but I'm going to be headed down anyway.
Yep, you're going back to the land of freedom.
That's right. And July 1, do not need a concealed carry license anymore in Indiana.
Yay.
Question: is that
Yeah.
for residents or only, or is it for non-residents?
That's for residents. That's for residents.
Okay.
Okay. And I can, I still have mine that I've got,
Mm-hmm.
but which allows me to have reciprocity in certain states
There you go.
where you wouldn't have that if you didn't have that concealed carry license.
Question:
Yeah.
off the top of your head, do you know if North Carolina has reciprocity with Indiana? Just off the top of your head.
I don't know. I mean,
That's
I Indiana does not have any test or anything else when they do it. The only thing they have is you have to have a set of fingerprints. Okay.
Yeah.
And $75. So whatever the fingerprints were, $75 and you're done.
But that's for a lifetime permit then, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yes.
For a fee that high.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like Illinois does not honor Indiana. Okay. So
Yeah, Illinois doesn't know it anyway. They're like New York
Correct.
State.
yeah.
They're like New York State and what's California. They don't.
Yep.
They don't ever have any reciprocity.
Yeah.
Well, that might change this week if they ever announce it.
Reciprocity won't happen on that. The thing that won't, what'll happen is that it'll just be easier in places like Hawaii, California, and everything else to get a concealed carry permit, along with New York.
No. If
No?
it's decided, you won't need a permit.
Oh,
Literally, the Second Amendment will be your permit if it comes out like it's supposed to come out, which they haven't announced yet, but they also haven't announced the challenge to Roe v. Wade. So even though everybody knows what that's going to be.
yeah.
So I don't know if they've decided that they needed to stretch out a bit before, or they're waiting till they're actually officially out of session to release the determinations on those two. So,
Well, they said there's supposed to be Wednesday and Friday. So tomorrow and Thursday. That's right. Tomorrow and Thursday
yeah,
for the next releases. Yeah.
So,
and everybody, I mean, you got Rhode Island is now looking at a magazine ban. Washington has passed its magazine ban. There's a lot of stuff that's going on now.
all the bull crap that's in the Senate right now.
You mean the 10 rhinos that we have over there now? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching this live, make sure you get a hold of your Congress critters and let them know that you are not in favor of any more gun control, and you're definitely not in favor of red flag laws.
Red flag laws are probably the most dangerous thing that they're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm. So, especially with some of the people on the anti side that are not mentally stable, shall we say. All they need to do is make a phone call and say, hey, I think this person's not safe to have their firearms right now. And boom, guess what? Law enforcement's at your door confiscating your firearms until you can legally prove that you are capable.
Right.
So that whole innocent till proven guilty clause, gone.
Yep.
So. We both try to mute her at the same time. It's funny.
Yep. I unmuted it. You're muted, Sharenda. You were making a bunch of racket.
So, Vanessa said Connecticut has had red flag laws for over 40 years. No,
There's trouble in the crowd right there.
we'll let him loose.
Yeah, but Maryland has not had them, and red flag laws, uh, and they've had numerous incidences where at 4 o'clock in the morning the police come over to your house, and the response from somebody banging on their door unannounced at 4 o'clock in the morning um, is, I don't know how about you, but uh, I'm a little upset with something going like that. I may respond poorly.
Yep. No knock raids
Yep.
need to be banned
You know.
because, well, I mean, if you want an example of why no knock raids need to be banned, Brianna, oh, crud, I can't remember. I think it's Taylor, the one from Memphis.
Yep.
That wasn't even her apartment they were supposed to be raiding.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no knock raids need to go. So there is no valid reason I've ever heard for having a no knock raid.
A no knock raid was so people couldn't dump junk down the toilet and flush it. Okay, that's what they were there for, or for the bookies to flash off their betting slips. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was the whole thing. So, but come on, I mean, a drug house will have cameras set up nowadays.
Yep.
Not everybody wants to put a camera up at their front door or something to see what's going on.
A ring doorbell will cost you a ring doorbell right now. They usually can find them on Amazon for like $30.
Okay,
So,
but I'm just saying a lot of people don't have them, and
Yep.
they hey, this is a no knock raid. Bang, they're coming in.
Yep.
So
Yep.
anyhow, we're beating a dead horse here, I know, but
Right.
let the critters that are polluting the Washington D.C. area know that you don't respond well to threats and loss of your rights.
Constitutional rights. Yeah. So Jorgen said he's a proud owner of an FN commercial Mauser action in 8x57. I have a stock. I'm ordering in Timney trigger now. I just have to decide what to rebarrel it in. Leaning towards 257 Bob. Oh, you got to go with the Bob or 7x57. Yeah, go with the Bob.
Well, if you're at there at 257 or 7x57, you also got 6mm Remington.
Yeah.
It's the same cartridge. All it is a 7x57 neck down to 6.
Yep.
And if he rebarrels it in a fast twist, 1 and 8 or so, he can go up to what 110, 115 grain bullets with that.
Yep. So our question for the night is from Steve via reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. I currently have a Forster coax press that I've been using for about 10 years. I've never been able to achieve what I would call great concentricity reloading with it. Just a little background. Rifle cartridges he loads for it: 223 Rem, 22 250, 243, 65 Creed, 270, odd 6, 08, and 300 Winchester short mag. He's tried Redding, Forster, and Hornady dies on it, both sizing and seating. He's tried the Forster, Hornady, and Sinclair die rings. Brass he's used include Lapua, Peterson Select, Nosler, Starline, Winchester, Federal. The Lapua and the Peterson Select have had phenomenal concentricity out of the box and went lousy after firing and resizing. I've also tried using a 21st century expanding mandrel and even tried neck turning. I do not crimp my rifle rounds. I also made sure the jaw holder is sitting level. Best concentricity I get is plus or minus 4 thousandths. One thing I noticed when I switched over to the inline fabrication mount is the right rear corner of the press does not lay flush with the mount surface where the left rear side does. See attached photo, I'll show you that in a second. The press does not move on me when I resize or seat bullets. I contacted Forster and they said this would not affect concentricity. What's the group's thought on this? Out of ideas on this end.
So he's using premium brass. He says he's using premium dies. And I don't know, when the brass gets shot, is it coming out concentric?
So this is the press. This is what he's talking about. This is the
Yep.
right rear with that gap there versus the left. Come on. Where it's a little more flat. That looks more like a casting issue in the press.
But I don't think that should do anything as far as the press goes.
No, because it's just this edge here. It's almost like they filed it off, not anything of a serious nature. So
I just wonder if the brass is coming out concentric from his chamber after firing.
Right.
I mean, that would be my thing to look at. If he's running a sizing die, make sure it's a one-piece die. I mean, don't use a bushing on it or anything, and see, what the run out on the case is after you've sized it. I can take a 308 Lee die that I have, and that I know for sure it's going to give me a perfect zero on my on concentricity. So,
well, he's in the chat. It's 454 bore. So we'll see if he's still there, and he was in the beginning of the night. So, he goes, I have not measured the fired brass. We'll try that out.
okay.
So here's a question though. You're talking different rifles. So do you think the chamber's jacked on all these rifles?
I've seen factory rifles being jacked all the time.
Right.
But not every one. The gentleman is talking about, well, at least, 8 to 10 calibers. And he's having that issue with every one of the calibers. 4,000 concentricity. I as much as I love my Forster coax, I'd say let's go to send the press back to Forster and see if they can make it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it was just one, I could see, and if it was just one set of dies, I could kind of see, the rifle chamber being the issue. But when you're talking this many cartridges and this many different die sets, I don't.
I have problems with some die sets. Okay, I mean, really,
I mean, everybody does.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. No matter how good you are, either there's something wrong with the die or whatever. You just don't get them. You just don't, for whatever reason, get them set right. Mm-hmm. So, but I mean,
Jorgen Reagan's got some good suggestions.
Don't mind my co-host. So, but yeah, Jorgen said
each step of the process, yeah.
Yep.
Where it's and I have found that I can introduce run out anywhere along the line by a sloppy setup.
Mm-hmm.
So and even a sloppy die setup can do it. As far as sizing die.
Yeah, if you're not consistent, I mean, even stuff down to like type of lube, application of lube.
Expanding ball, the rod that is in the expand, for expanding the case, is it straight? Is it pulling right? Um, that's why I size a case without an expanding rod in it. I go in then and I can measure and say, yeah, this one's perfect. Then I take it to a mandrel die, and the mandrel die is floating. So it should center up in the case. Does it center up every time perfectly? No. I can introduce a thousandths here and there without any problem. And that's in a floating mandrel die. So, okay. All right.
So he was using an accuracy 1 concentricity gauge with a Mitutoyo indicator. He started with imperial sizing wax, switched over to lanolin alcohol mix, also people more commonly known as Dillon lube.
Mm-hmm.
Both of which are good. Both of which still are possible to have lubing issues, but I think the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing for you right now, 454 bore, is exactly like Jorgen says, step by step, checking concentricity at every step. So, decap and size, and so on and so forth. Each step you're checking and see. I mean, if it's bubkiss from the start, then maybe it's the die setup. Reset up your die or switch the die out and see if you get different results. Ooh, somebody's got a Hornady. Oh, for crying out loud!
Concentricity gauge?
No, Shrenda just walked in with the Hornady sonic cleaner.
Oh.
So,
yay for the lady.
I have one of those somewhere. Although I think mine broke because I think I left it on and burned it up. Whoops. Anyway. So yeah, like Jorgen said, average run out of fired cases, average size of case, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Take a good sample of brass, not just 1 or 2. So 20 rounds, 40 rounds, whatever it is you're loading up. So you're not going to want to just take your results off of 1 or 2. It's the same thing as when you're shooting groups to sight your rifle in, or that type. You're not just going to, unless you're doing the 1-shot method, you're not going to just crank off 1 shot to try and sight your group in or sight your scope in. You're going to do multiple shots to make sure you're removing the human error. So
yeah, and the other thing is brass. It's all over the place nowadays. So
right. I mean, he's got some decent brass, so it's
sure. Yeah,
I mean, he's got Winchester in there too,
and he's got Remington in there too. So I mean, you might as well just like I said when I first started with this, guys, Remington, Winchester, and Remington brass is pieces of junk until you work them over. You got to massage them and
right.
Do a lot of prep to get them to where they're going to be.
A lot of neck turning.
Well, neck turning and straightening them out and everything else. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find out that they vary in thicknesses a lot and in the sidewalls of the cases and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all that affects your concentricity. So your dies, you look at your sizing. The things that affect it are going to be your sizing die, your how you expand the case mouth, as far as pulling it back through is going to affect your concentricity is that little ball in there, going to be straight as it comes up through the case. If the case is heavy on one side, it's going to pull it to the other side. So a
Are your
lot goes
dies
on
clean?
there. Yeah, your dies are clean. I know it doesn't use a shell holder per se, but are the jaws of your shell holder straight, level?
Mhm. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that enough, but Jim, is there spots you can actually put a level on to check and make sure that it's level?
Well, the way it works is it's got like a strap over the top of it, comes down like sort of like a letter C.
Yeah.
And if there's too much clearance, the one jaw or the other could actually get cockeyed.
Okay.
Slightly cockeyed. But that wouldn't affect concentricity going into the die. It would affect concentricity coming out.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd have to sit down and say that, okay, if you're sizing brass, take out your decapping rod.
Yep.
And your expander button.
Yep.
And have to go with a 21st century or a precision products mandrel die set to expand your cases.
And that's what he did say. He did say use 21st century expanding mandrel.
Okay.
Excuse me, gents. 454 bore. I suggest that you get a feeler gauge and measure over top of the jaw, but underneath the hold down. In between there. If you've got too much slop in there, that could well contribute to run out. I'm talking about clearance over top of the jaw, but under the hold down. I think that'll take and give you. It might point you in the right direction.
Do you neck turn brass?
He said he did try that.
Okay, what do you use the neck turn the brass with?
Yeah, that's the question that he didn't say. He said tried neck turning, but didn't say what he used. So,
The other thing too, 454 bore is make sure you have the same clearance over top of those jaws on both sides, left and right. He said use 21st century neck turning tool.
Okay. That should be good. I mean, if the brass is coming out after he finishes with that and goes to the next, before he goes to the next one, it should be coming out square. But
here's an interesting one there from Jorgen Rangen. I'll highlight it. My Lee 308 seating die pushes fired brass out at 1 thousandths run out to 4.5 run out. 4.5 thousandths run out.
Okay.
So that's basically the tolerance. Sounds like it's tolerance built into the die.
And
with numbers that small, that's got to be tolerances.
Yeah, and then he's got the threads of the die are coarse on a Lee.
Yep.
The locking nut is big time. You get to the Forester micrometer seating dies, and everything is squared up. The case itself is supported as it goes into the die. Same thing with the retting. The bullet seating part of it is supported by a sliding collar that holds the bullet concentric to the bore to the case mouth. Which is the same. which happens on both of those. So
Yeah, well, looks like we just got nailed by the gallery. He says, quote, I said seating, but I meant sizing. Sorry, Paul and Jim.
okay.
I find it hard to believe that anything Redding makes would do something of this nature. Of course, too, but maybe the gentleman is noticing, he's measuring so carefully that he's seeing the tolerances that have stacked up against him. Yeah, I know. It's
I mean, you can get to the point where you know you're inducing it yourself. You handle a case so many times, you can induce run out from just the heat of your hand when you're talking a thousandth of an inch on a piece of brass. Brass is very conductive to heat. Um, if you're handling the piece of brass the wrong way, it could show it. I mean, if you're showing only a thousandths, okay, leave it be. Let me put it that way, okay? I can get you down to zero, but are you gonna want to do that? Do you have that much time?
and money. And
You're
money.
right. You know,
You put a
But
lifetime of spending and lifetime of savings into your hobby.
right. I'm retired. I can sit down and I can play with my stuff, my brass, you know, so, till I know where it's, you know, at 100% of the time. I am not in a rush to reload it. So if I show a thousandths off, I let me check the bullet. I mean, even at that point, you know, half a thousand. Let's put it this way: half a thousandths on a bullet, half a thousandths on a case. You're at a thousandths, right?
Yep.
You could do the same thing. You could get a bullet that is 3 thousandths out of round that you don't know for sure, and you know you're inducing a 3 thousandths run out onto it.
You know, Jorgen Reagan's got another good question. Question is, what is acceptable concentricity? Now, 454 has already given his answer, plus or minus 2 thousandths. And that's pretty good accuracy there, plus or minus 2 thousandths. But I think, you know, the question is, what's acceptable accuracy? It depends upon the application more than anything else. If you're just going to be shooting white-tailed deer at 100 yards, I would say plus or minus 4 thousandths would be good enough. Minute of deer, that sort of thing. But, you know, if you want to get better than 2 thousandths, you better go to the bench rest techniques and forget about it.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, you're sitting there looking at, you know, bench rest. You're looking at you build 10 cases and you shoot those until the barrel goes.
Yep.
You know.
Well, you're also talking to $10,000, $20,000 guns too.
Well, yeah, and when the barrel starts to go, because it goes from zeros to twos. I mean, that's the barrel's gone. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
I understand.
You know, it gets expensive running. Even to me, it gets expensive to run barrels in bench rest because they scrub the hell out of them. And I mean, really scrub the hell out of them between every 5 shots. And then, you know, it opens up to 2 thousandths, you know, of an inch, and the gun's no good anymore. So they're getting rid of that. You know, the barrel comes off, they have it rechambered, and maybe they get lucky and maybe they get a good barrel. There's no saying that every barrel that comes off the line is good. So, And did the gunsmith do a good job in truing, making sure everything is squared up? That's the kicker, guys. That's why I'm sitting there with factory rifles. If you shoot it, you measure it to see what happens, because a factory rifle is a factory rifle, and there's no saying that it's going to be perfectly concentric. Because I watch a gunsmith put together, cut threads on a recut threads on a receiver, cut threads onto a barrel, and they're using um, rain accuracy rods and bushings to go into the barrel to find out where is the exact center of it, and they're measuring to 10 thousandths of an inch when they're locking the barrel up into the lathe. Was Remington, Winchester, and all those other ones that good in those days? I don't think so.
Agreed. The
The
thing is, these people that are making the farms and production like that, they are in competition with each other, heavy competition. They're trying to make the best rifle they can and keep the price down to a reasonable level.
Sure. So you're looking at average nowadays of $300 to $600 for an average entry level rifle.
Yep.
Okay, and if you go to the higher end, you're going to spend $1,000, $1,400 for for an average rifle. Guys, to put together a custom gun is $6,000, $7,000. And then you're still questioning. You got to question: is the barrel going to be good? And we find them sometimes they ain't good. So it happens.
454 bore. Oh, he's already picked it up. The GGW GGW Reloading has a question about using a Forster coax press. Can you index the sizing die with a Sharpie, then rotate it a quarter of a turn, try 5 pieces at a time and see if it's die induced? And 454 already said he's going to try that. That is a great question, GGW. I never even thought about that, but I get 2000 concentricity with my Forster coax. I'm not even trying real hard. Mike, you're muted.
Doubly
It's
muted.
not.
I was doubly muted. Dang it. I said, did we answer General Champ Jr.'s question that was up there? Just came back. Concentric to what?
Concentric to the axis of the bore, or the case to the bore.
Okay. And then the next comment that I wanted to put up was odors. Free bore, is that not a definite measure? I have an old 308 that I'm trying to reload, but when trying to get my loads to fit the mag, my bullet setback is way over general recommended.
I'd say so, because you can't. You're best off with that single loading.
Well,
He
wants to fit the mag, and if I don't know if there's a gunsmith in his area, but because of it of what he's got, they can set the barrel back so he can get rid of his free bore. But be honest with you, I've every Remington 308 that I've owned, I've gotten rid of the factory barrel because the free bore was so goddamn long on it that I thought the bullet was going to be exiting the barrel by the time it caught the rifling.
That's only a small exaggeration.
But yeah,
wow. Utter Sigerson. I like that comment. He says he's got a plus 1 mile range he's trying to get onto. In Iceland,
Is the
that's
island that
doing
long?
something. That's doing something.
Is the
Good
island
on
that
you, man.
long?
Say again, Mike?
I said, is the island that long?
In the wintertime, it's longer.
Oh, this is true.
You both are shitheads.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Remington has a tendency to run the long-throated reamer in the barrel, and you don't get good velocities out of that.
Nope.
So, we'll see what the new Remington does.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of hoping is the new Remington gets their crap straight. So I don't know. They look okay, but I haven't seen a lot of. So
Targets come back yet?
Yeah.
Other than the guy trying to run 77s through a 1 in 12 gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoops.
There's one for you, Mike.
Oh. Yeah, actually, I think Iceland's, I don't know, 50 or 60 miles across, something like that.
Oh, it was big. It was big enough. We had we had an Air Force base on it. I know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Iceland and Greenland, both.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of that P-38 they found in the ice in Greenland, is supposed to be flying before the end of the year.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
So.
Problem is over here we do not have gunsmiths.
That sucks.
Okay.
Well, Oder, now you got a new career.
Yeah.
I had a customer come in last night. He called on the phone. He was looking for either a 541 or a 514 or 513 Remington 22 for his granddaughter. Right now she's shooting his Sears, which was a JC Higgins, and she loves it. But he's like, I really want to get her a special one. So he called up and I answered and I said, well, let me go check and see. Cause we just bought a collection of 22s a couple weeks ago, had both a 13T and a 41T. So I told him about him. He goes, all right, I'll be right in. So we're sitting there talking and, talking about, how it's been fun watching his kids and his grandkids grow up and shoot. And I was telling him a couple stories about the boys and stuff and talking about how they were in 4-H. And he goes, I didn't know 4-H had shooting sports. I said, oh yeah. So anyway, we checked the county that his granddaughter lives in. They don't have a shooting sports program. So I look at him and I go, you know what this means, right? He goes, what? I said, now you got to get your son to start the 4-H shooting sport program in that county. He was on the phone with his kid before he left the building last night, talking to him and giving him the information.
Mike, that's called stirring it up.
You're darn right.
Hey, you know what? 2A all the way, right?
The 4-H is a volunteer organization. Nothing happens unless we get volunteers.
Right.
And there's a lot of their shooting sports program is an amazing program. Unfortunately, like a lot of their other amazing programs, there is, if you don't have the adult volunteers, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there is so much stuff involved. It's not just raising pigs and cows for 4-H. There is so much stuff there. They're continuing to grow into the new technologies. We've got a robotics group. There's all sorts of stuff that they've got going on. STEM is huge with 4-H right now at the national level. And so it's just a matter of getting people volunteers. So if you're a shooter and you love teaching young people, get a hold of your local 4-H, your county 4-H, and find out if they've got a shooting sports program you can help out in. If they don't, find out what you can do to start one. You start calling gun stores and you start calling gun manufacturers and you tell them you want to start a 4-H shooting sports program for a county, you'd be amazed at the help you can get. It's not all free, but you can get a lot of help. So
This is aimed at the lady in blue denim.
no, it's aimed at you two too.
I don't have any kids at school.
Doesn't matter. You're a shooter. You like
True.
teaching kids. How do you think how do you think the Second Amendment's going to survive? We have to continue to get new shooters involved.
You got a point.
So, and a lot of kids don't grow up with that hunting tradition. So you teach them to hunt paper.
Definitely.
I'd like to address something here.
Yes.
It's Sharenda put up the comment to Odor Sigerson. So how far off would you have to send your firearm? Heck, can you even FFL it? First thing is, Sharenda, Iceland is sovereign state. It's a country unto itself. They have their own laws, and then he'd have to be shipping internationally. That's a good
I
question.
guess that should have been my first question is where the heck is he at? I
He's
never
above Greenland. He's a small country between Norway and Greenland, but further north than Greenland.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Out in the middle of the Atlantic, North Atlantic.
Yes, exactly. They got some serious winters up there.
Yeah, they definitely. So, so Iceland is approximately 40,000 square miles.
That's pretty good size.
So it's about the same size as Colorado. Anyway. So Iceland is the world's 18th largest island and Europe's second after Great Britain. Ireland's third. So anyway, Greenland doesn't count.
There's one for you, Sharenda.
Surprisingly, I've only seen 2, and they've not been around my property. So
All right, then.
yeah, they're back at the creek now.
Good. Sharenda, there's another question for you. What is FFL?
Say it again. Or can you flash it?
Odor Sigerson asked you a question on the bottom of your screen, right side.
I'm putting it up.
Oh, so here it is. Oh gosh, and I'm drawing a blank on the first letter, but
Federal.
it is who we use to transfer our firearms legally.
Federal firearms license.
Yes.
Licensee.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to mail a firearm from me to Missouri to say Jim, I could go to my local firearm transfer person or store, and then they transfer it to Jim's.
Send them all
Or-
down. I'll keep them safe. They'll be going my safe real nice.
all you have to do is remember, Sharenda, all you have to do is to mail it to his FFL.
FFL. If it's a
You
long
don't have, right, if it's a long gun. So you can take and mail it or FedEx it. And if you use USPS, the postal service, it actually goes by FedEx.
Yeah, and I
Those are
wouldn't
the deal.
use the postal service.
Oh, I do. That's how all my stuff
Not here.
gets done. You know,
Not here. I've done FedEx, but pretty much here in Kansas City area, it's just easier to just go to a store or retailer.
well, that's all they're doing.
Yeah,
They're
but you don't even have to pay for a box. They'll take care of all of that.
Well, once you send off to get a new rifle made, you usually got to pay for send it in a case. Otherwise, they ain't really appreciative of sending it through the mail that way. Anyhow,
Um, fuffled. Anyway, so yeah. 454. You need to report back and let us know the results of this. So, but Shrenda's typing back. We can hear. She's got a good. Microphone. It's picking up all the good stuff.
Oh, sorry. I ordered it. Does that make you feel better?
What?
A new microphone.
Well, no, that one's good. It just picks up really well.
Oh, okay. Can you hear my typing? I'm answering Paul.
Yeah. So
we could just mute her, keep her permanently muted.
No.
I can mute myself.
Dang.
And I think I can. No, I can't.
Not if she mutes herself. You can't, sucker.
Smart ass.
Yes, I am.
No, I'm talking to you, dumb shit. I'm talking to her. Calling her the smart aleck.
Gee, I wonder where I got it from. When I first got on the show, I was so quiet and pleasant and friendly. And all of a sudden, I have some asshole tendencies. Where do I got those from?
You were born with them?
All from Jim.
Don't blame me.
He exudes those tendencies.
This show is going to the dogs. Time for a wrap, Mikey. Time for a wrap. God almighty.
You set yourself up so bad, Jim.
Yeah, I did.
All right, so dun, dun, dun. I thought I had another question to email, but I don't. So there we go. So let's see. We talked about primary arms as footwear last week. So what should we talk about this week from primary arms? Ooh, I know. So, oh no, I don't want to activate that offer. I'm looking to see if they have any equipment that would help us measure concentricity. They actually look like they got some bullets and stuff in stock, so that's a good thing. Got some Hornady dies. Yes, they have the Hornady lock and load bullet concentricity tool, which I actually have one in the garage, and I just didn't dig it out because I don't know where the heck in the garage it is. So at this point in time, I'm just so everybody knows, at this point in time, I'm house shopping. So I have decided at this point in time, it's kind of pointless to try and get this room set up when it's going to get taken down. So, but yeah, Hornady's got a lock and load, a concentricity gauge. Everybody pretty much makes a nice, decent concentricity gauge, but I guess 21st Century uses the cat's meow, which would make sense because they're more of a tool maker for the precision reloader, not the mass reloader. So, but the Hornady one's pretty decent. So, otherwise, Redding has got a really nice one. Their newer one's nice. RCBS has got a really nice, easy to use one.
I use the Sinclair.
Yep, Sinclair's is a really good one.
And because I like the ball bearings on it. But hey, you know, it all comes down to the gauge that the meter you're using and everything else to see where you're at. But,
right. Yeah, I mean that's the big thing of it is what's the actual measuring device in there?
Right.
If it's a crappy one and it's not very consistent and it doesn't move very smoothly, then you could easily have problems.
And you can also go the other way around if it's so sensitive that and you know it you got a bump in the case, okay, that says it's a thick spot in the case someplace, okay, in the neck of the case as you go through it. It's going to show it as not being concentric. So you have to try a couple of different places to see where as you work it.
Yep.
So.
You could go pretty far down that crazy rabbit hole.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. So one of the things you want to do when you're learning to use your concentricity gauge is measure the same case over and over and over and over again to make sure you're getting the same reading each time. If you're not getting the same reading each time, then
your technique is bad.
Yeah.
And you only can do it with a Sharpie, because you have to sit down and you have to mark the case where you find your high spot. Close your eyes, spin it again. As far as I'm concerned, look to see where it's at, and if you're finding another high spot in another place, then you got a different type of situation. So, anyhow, let's beat that thing to death here today.
Mm-hmm.
So
I am looking to see. So, Paul, did you burn up any barrels on the Prairie Dog shoot?
Yeah, 22 250 barrels.
Okay.
They're getting ordered a 6 and a 22, a 224 and a 243 barrel, and they're going to change to a 6 BR and a 22 BR in a switch barrel.
Okay. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So here's a quick question on casting. For lead bullet casters, do you rest or wait a period of time before powder coating? Obviously, Jim doesn't powder coat, but so
I wish Travis was here. I have access I have access to a pallet full of powder.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We should talk. I've powder coated a lot of stuff, not bullets, but we used to powder coat jigs and stuff. And when we casted those, we water quenched them and then dried them off. And as soon as we were done casting whatever the run was we were casting, immediately started powder coating. If you're yeah, like Paul Lau just said, if they just have to cool. So if you're water quenching, that's cooling it. So that's kind of one of those.
Yeah, it's just a way to speed up the process.
Yeah.
And if you're casting enough bullets, you might as well, you're waiting anyway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but most people I know who are casting are water quenching. So it's just, well, for one thing, depending on what you're casting, it kind of helps with consistency, and that's what we're trying after is consistency. Because they're cooling at the same rate, so theoretically, any sort of thermal don't even know what the hell I was trying to say.
Dynamics.
Yeah, is going to be consistent from bullet to bullet because they're heating up at the same rate and temperature and they're cooling down at the same rate and temperature. So, but so Paul Loud says a water quenches everything except hollow point bullets. Well, that would make sense because when you drop them in, if you drop them in point first, they're soft and you can deform that. So that would make sense. But anyway, yeah, definitely. You got to wait till they're cool to put the powder coating on, one way or another. Whether it's just letting them cool naturally or water quenching. Funny. Uh-oh, where did I click?
I just recently discovered you can hide comments and hide private chat.
Oh yeah.
Double click the comments and the private button.
Yep.
And
Anyway.
you better quit picking on me, lady. You'll get no more boxes from me.
Hey, I wasn't picking on you. You just look like you was about to start bobbing and weaving.
So
I'm all right.
Yeah. All right, gang. Talked a little bit about primary arms. Want to talk about our other? My screen froze. Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you.
Sweet.
We can hear you.
Sweet. My screen froze. Want to talk about Patriot Patch Company? Talk about their patch of the month. Jim, can you show that off? My screen froze. So
I believe so. Which one was it?
that's the RC truck with the fireworks.
Got it.
So
No, not that I have it. I'm looking.
anyway, if you guys can still see my camera, that's what it looks like, but probably can't see my
No,
camera.
we're not getting any screen from you.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So, patch of the month's an awesome thing. Ryan and Jake do a great job over there. They've also got a bunch of other stuff, and they do custom patches, custom stickers, all sorts of different stuff. So,
Don't have it, Mike. Sorry. I
not
must
a
have
problem.
moved.
Not a problem at all. So,
Well,
yeah,
I know
since Mike-
I know the Patriot Patch Company is a big supporter of us.
Yep. So, at any rate, since my computer's decided it wants to not be fun and play nice, we'll wrap this puppy up. So, if you want to ask questions like Steve did or 454 Boar did, it's reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send a text message or leave a voicemail at 608-467-0308. If you want, you can find us on social media, Facebook, MeWe. We have a Discord channel. And if you don't have the Discord link, you can private message any of us on Facebook or MeWe, and we can get that for you. We also have an Instagram page, which Travis runs. So you'll see a lot of good content on there.
I would say the the Discord page, the Discord channel we have, I would say it's much more active than even the MeWe page.
Yep. Not quite as good as the Facebook group, but there's not as many people in the Discord page. So if you have questions you need answered right away, go to join either the Facebook, the Reloading Podcast group on Facebook or the Reloading Room on Facebook. Both are troll-free zones. We monitor them. Keep in mind, no swearing. They're family friendly. If you've got questions you want covered on the show, like I said, get a hold of us. And on that note, keep your brass shiny.
I'll go. Grandpa said, "Don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems."
Unmute yourself, Sharonda.
Teach a lady how to reload. Put her workbench together. And let her pinch off your stash a little bit. In the end, you can probably get her to do some of your pre-prepping, like wash your brass, resize if need be. I'm just saying, help the ladies out.
Support the Second Amendment. Join a gun club. Take somebody shooting. Take somebody new shooting. Or like Mike gave me an idea today, put a bug in my ear. Maybe start a 4-H chapter on shooting. All it takes is a volunteer and somebody dedicated to the Second Amendment. Like Mike said, without new shooters, R2A rights will go away forever and they won't come back.
If you're struggling, 1-800-273-8255, 1-800-273-8255. Reach out, get some help. It's very important. We need you here. And on that note, folks, good night.
Bye, y'all.
Take care.
Jim, you're going to have to end it. It won't even let me end it.
Okay, no problem. And broad.